Welcome to the iRacing Skip Barber series here on BSR TV. This is round 8 from Spa, with me in the commentary box, Chris Cohen, joined this evening by Rachel Whiteford. Evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Matt.
And Mr. Matt Dalton will be joining us shortly. I'm not sure he's around just yet. But the 8th race of the season, Rachel, it's turned out to be quite a season, especially for Mark Mercer, and you were there last week with all the action.
Absolutely. It's been a brilliant season so far. Last week's session at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course was a brilliant race. Close fight between George Streetley and Mark Mercer for the front. Townend in close third place. The three of them battling hard for the entire race. Some amazing moves, and I'm looking forward to seeing this carried through to the next race. And judging by what I've seen this week in practice rooms for Spa, we might well be joined by Mr. Grillo.
Well, it'll be good to see him back out on the track. And in fact, speaking of some of those names, I got to meet some of those this weekend. Blake Townend and George Streetley and Alan Patterson and a few others as well. Got to meet them in person, in the flesh. Some nice guys as well. So looking forward to seeing them out on the track, the virtual track that is, this week. But what can you tell us about Spa in terms of the Skip Barber?
Well, Spa's an interesting course at the best of times, but for the Skip Barber, it's proving to be a brilliant circuit. The first corner, big concertina effect for the cars as they run into that. Easy to keep it clean though, because you've got a lot of runoff area. Eau Rouge, taken flat in the Skippy, and I'm sure a lot of these guys will be taking it hard and flat. Running up the Camel Straight, you've got the chicanes, you've got hairpins, you've got wide corners. The big corner, the double apex of Pouin, is going to be interesting because that car will get loose. If you enter too fast, the back end will come out. Running one of the official races this afternoon, 8-9 cars piling up in that corner. It was like a scene from Days of Thunder. Blanchiment, previously able to run it flat, this season with the new tyre model, the cars are going to have to ease out, lifting the throttle just as they arrive at that corner. I'm seeing big overtaking moves arriving at the end of the Camel Straight and arriving at the bus stop, so this one's going to be a brilliant race, Chris.
So two interesting points that you mentioned there. The Camel Straight, there's a big opportunity for drafting down there because Eau Rouge is basically flat. If you've got the balls for it, then you should be able to go into that straight with a lot of speed, and we'll be seeing a lot of overtaking there, surely.
Oh, absolutely. I'm seeing a lot of overtaking, probably in the draft on the Camel Straight. Turns 5 and 6, 7, the quick left chicane section. Big overtaking moves. In fact, I got one there myself in turn 5 this afternoon. It was a really good place to take people once you've been drafting them down the Camel Straight. The hairpin at 8, big overtaking moves. And I think someone brave, probably Mr. Streetley or Mr. Townend, down into Pouin, turns 10 and 11, the fast double apex. I think we're going to see some action there. The bus stop, though, will be the decider, I think.
And the bus stop is the other point there. It's a very tricky corner at the best of times. Some big curbs down there as well, and these open wheelers are not friendly with the curbs. So another opportunity to overtake on the entry there.
Oh, absolutely. The cars are all having to slow down from top speed running down that straight for turn 18, 19, the bus stop chicane. I think we're definitely going to see some overtaking, some placements, probably somebody taking the outside for turn 18 at the entry. That puts them on the inside for turn 19 and the run up the pit straight. So some tactical positioning here with Spa having so many chicanes. Too many drivers will try and put themselves on the inside for the first turn. They'll lose it on the second. So you're going to see the front runners, I think, really jumping on the outside line for the approach to the chicanes. I think that'll be our big move of the night.
And this is a 12 race championship, of course. This is round 8, so we're getting towards the final phases of this season's championship. The last season won in the end by Blake Townend, who isn't having such a great season this time. We've got time now just to go over to the scores and have a look at those. Mark Mercer is clearly the favourite for the season now. He's carrying a 44-point advantage with only 4 rounds left, which means that his nearest rival, Blake Townend, will need 11 points on him in each and every round after this one, if things stay as they are, to get back out on top. George Streetley, though, in 3rd place, only 3 points behind Townend. It's really, I mean, if you're being honest, it's Mark Mercer's to lose now, and 2nd to 5th are all in with the running. Savidovic 4th, Hamilton in 5th. Hamilton's first season in this championship, of course. They are all separated just by 14 points, so it could be anyone's game, but who's your favourite out of those guys?
At the moment, actually, my big favourite is Blake Townend. He was in third for most of the race last week, and whilst Streetley and Mercer were fighting it out, took the pair of them on the inside on the run down to turn 4 at Mid-Ohio. The guy is a tactical racer. He's a past champion. I think if anybody can take the fight back to the leaders, it'll be him. Mark Mercer running strong with Streetley, but I must say we can't count out Hamilton and some of the other guys in the top 5, because Hamilton, first season, yeah, but a brilliant race last week. So I'm thinking at the moment, yeah, Mark Mercer's to lose, but it's going to be close.
So running down the scores then, 6th place Jonathan Maycock, 7th place, one half, the only remaining half sadly of Warnell Racing this season, Tom Ward. 8th place shared by Rob Green and Sebastian Job after his emphatic win at Brands Hatch this season. Stuart Adcock is in 10th place, O'Leary 11th, Grillo, who is making his return this evening hopefully, is in 12th place, Tim Adcock, the other Adcock, is in 13th place, LJ Garnett for Apex Racing UK 14th, Cowan 15th, O'Brien 16th. And then coming down the scores a little bit, Clark Williams 17th, Bobby Bramley 18th, Dave Grenell, the other half of Warnell Racing, who's had to retire this season unfortunately, best wishes to Dave, he is in 18th along with Bramley. Antoniades and Lambert share 20th place, 22nd is shared by Everest and Sharp. Plumley and Rapstin are in 24th, and Tom Stanley, then Ryan Littlemore, Alan Piercy, Norris, Blakely, Fagg and Hunt round out the top 32 drivers there, but you can see the gulf in difference. Mark Mercer in the 160 points range, and the guys in 32nd place 10 points. So although those points are extremely valuable for those drivers, it just goes to show how competitive it is and how difficult it is to scrape even a few points out of these rounds. Quick look at the team championship. PH Racing have a significant margin, but it's not infallible. They're up there on 213 from GR Legends, and third place man in the championship is a GR Legends driver, George Streetley, 186. And then coming down, Friction Racing, Racing Game Show, Club 100 Racing and Radicals. Then Ninja Racing are actually only 2 points behind Radicals now, and a bit of a gulf then between them and Warnell and the other guys, all the way down to 16th place. The scores there on your screen. But wouldn't it just be the icing on the cake, Rachel, if PH Racing were to take the team championship along with Mark Mercer's potential victory in the driver championship?
Absolutely, Chris. Obviously, what people seem to forget is that when you've got one member of a team running up front constantly, yes, he's in for a shot with the drivers' championship. However, it's the guys that are consistently finishing in the top positions for the teams that will make the difference in the team championship. So definitely. Sorry, just a quick one, technical question we've got here, Chris. Having some problems with your mic, so can you perhaps mute when you're not talking? We're just coming across at the moment.
Me? Sorry, you're talking to me there?
Yeah, sorry, can't type at the moment in the chat window. It's not working for some reason, but when you're not talking, it's coming across.
Right, okay. Thanks for that. We're going to
Sorry,
go down
folks,
to the.
just having some technical hitches going on at the moment, so please bear with us.
We're going to go down to the track even right now, and see how the qualifying is going. 20-minute qualifying session, and then we've got a 30-minute, roughly a 30-minute race. We're going to have 10 laps around Spa. Two laps, that would be interesting. 10 laps around Spa. And positions now should be coming up on your screen any minute, and you can see that the top qualifying time in there is Mr. Simon Hulbert in 2:47.7. Hulbert is back in action along with his SS Racing teammate Simon Povey, who we haven't seen at all this season, Rachel.
No, they've been conspicuous by their absence, and it's nice to see them back on the track.
Well, second place is our championship leader there, Mark Mercer. He is in just 15,000th there, behind Hulbert in the lead. Tom Ward is currently in third place, and that's a storming time for Tom Ward, it has to be said.
Absolutely, the guy's doing really, really well at this track. I must say, it is a very different track to a lot of the courses we've had so far in the season, so I think we're going to see a shake-up in the positions during the qualifying and the race. I don't think traffic will be as much of an impact on this track for the qualifying period either, Chris.
And look at this, Stefan Hoog, who doesn't often race in this series, in fact, if at all, is in fifth place at the moment. and Savidovic is all the way down there in 9th. Although it must be said, the number of laps you can complete in qualifying is dependent on the length of the lap, and 2:47 means that most drivers have only managed to complete 2 qualifying laps so far, so that's going to come into play as well.
It is. Just one quick thing to point out. We've got a newcomer currently in 23rd in the qualifying. Jonas van Werke. He's a Belgian living in the UK. The guy's very new to this season. In fact, this is his first race. His qualifying time of 2:50.169. It's about a second slower than his fastest practice time. So a surprise entry and a newcomer that's probably going to end up in the top 20, Chris.
Well, he's just been pushed down to 24th now. Not a great difference, but he'll continue working on those places as well. And the reduction, it puts a bit of pressure on. The reduction in the number of laps available to these guys puts a little bit of pressure on. We might see 6 laps out of some of them. Most drivers will only manage to get in 5 qualifying laps, probably during the session. A couple of new faces out there that I haven't seen before, although I wasn't there last week, so maybe once I read these out you can tell me if any of these guys were at Mid-Ohio. So we've got Alex Gillen, looks like a newcomer.
No, I think he's pretty new to this track, Chris. Oh, just a quick one. Hamilton took Hulbert's with a 2:47.3, and Blake Townend has stormed into first place, a full second faster on a 46.38.
Well, that's a huge difference to have up front there in the 46s. First driver to do so in the qualifying session. And like you say, almost a second faster Blake Townend is over his rival Marcus Hamilton. I was going to say Mark Hamilton. That's someone completely different. And it's going to shake things up on the grid. But that, just because somebody gets in a good qualifying time doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be able to hold on for an entire race. And it's typically what we've seen from Paul Grillo. He's running 12th in the championship at the moment. Always very good in qualifying. Sometimes good in the races, and then sometimes not. So qualifying is not always a reflection of the race performance.
Absolutely not, especially at a track like this. Things can get shaken up very, very quickly, and I do suspect we may see a couple of incidents in today's race. The track has some comings together that will bring a lot of drivers into a very small space, and qualifying time, hot lapping, that's one thing. Running fast racing laps at a place like Spa-Francorchamps, another matter entirely, Chris.
And viewers, your questions, comments, other materials generally welcome in the YouTube comments section during our live broadcast this evening. And even afterwards, if you're watching afterwards, let us know what you think, what we can do to improve, etc. All the rest of that stuff. That's what the comments are there for. Just having a look at Nick McCarran going around that lovely Marlborough paint job, which would be banned if it was real racing nowadays. And he is running in 26th place in the number 31 car with about 6 minutes of qualifying to go. The whole 30-minute race is coming your way just once the qualifying finishes, and then the drivers get a chance to grid up. But Townend looking good for pole. Can anyone get close to that time, Rachel?
Well, some people are getting closer and faster, but I really don't think it's going to be that possible. Although, saying that, Streetley, Townend and Job were the only 3 cars that managed to make it into the 46s during practice, with Streetley actually just 2 thousandths faster than Blake Townend in practice. So, if anyone can beat him, it'll be George Streetley.
Interesting you say that, because George Streetley has done 2 qualifying laps, but he's currently running in 43rd position without setting a valid lap time at the moment. He's got 5 minutes to do so, but it would be a disaster for his 3rd place in the championship if he couldn't hold on to that and get a time in.
Absolutely, although I think one of the biggest problems here at Spa is, obviously with iRacing, when you put a qualifying lap in, if you get an off-track or any sort of incident, that will actually cancel that lap for qualifying as your new fastest. So, unfortunately, Spa is one of the tracks where they place the off-track markers with somewhat gay abandon. They sprinkled them left and right and here and there. In some places it's just beyond the checkerboard rumble strips. In other places you can go for a wander in the grass. But it's that inconsistency and the fact that you absolutely have to use all the runoff you can here to get the fastest laps that may be penalising some of our top runners.
And Streetley then, just after I mentioned him there, moves into 4th position in the number 20 GR Legends car there. Not coming up with GR Legends on the screen, I'm not sure why. Apologies. But he is in 4th position. He's pushed Tom Ward down to 5th, and Hamilton now down to 6th position. Although no sign of Job and no sign of Grillo on the scoreboard at the moment.
Job is actually running in second place with a 46.7353.
Ah, it's my eyes. Okay, let's go back to plan B then. No sign of Paul Grillo at the moment.
No, unfortunately. Like I said, I saw him practicing this week, all week, and he's put in considerably more practice than Mr. Streetley, who arrived in a practice session this afternoon that I was in, and said, not done any all week. What are the times, guys? So, for a man that's not done much practice, Streetley is storming away, and as I said, the man that's been practicing consistently for the week, Mr. Grillo, no sign, so I'm wondering about that one.
And well, actually, none of the driver names are coming up on our overlays today, so we'll just have to let you know by verbal means what the teams are. But Streetley was the chap who spun out from near the lead in the Brands Hatch round earlier this season. He'll be kicking himself for that one, and it put him down to 12th in the standings. He's now 3rd in the championship, so it would have had a big impact on that lead that Mark Mercer's built up. But Mark Mercer down to 9th in the qualifier, and that could really hamper his progress.
It could, but Spa is a track where overtaking is incredibly possible. In fact, not just possible, it happens. So I wouldn't think that would hamper him too much.
Well, we saw last season 4 or 5 wide down the Kemmel Straight. Those are all there on the YouTube channel for your enjoyment if you wanted to go back and have a look at any of the races from last season of this same series. The Spa one in particular is definitely worth your time once this race is over, and if that one was anything to go by, there will be lots and lots of overtaking, as Rachel points out, just from the fact that there is so much draft and the track's so wide. There's really very few places where you wouldn't be able to make a pass.
Absolutely, although I'd say one car that people will be trying their utmost to pass this week will be the car of Ellis Stevens, the number 11, currently running in 16th. A rather tie-dyed 1960s hallucinogenic paint scheme being driven by Mr. Ellis Stevens this week. Wow, that is hurting my eyes even from the commentary box.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That's definitely a step up from his last paint job, which we won't talk about. But that one is definitely...
I think we're seeing some tactics here, Chris. Definitely some psychological warfare going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't see too much of the paint job when you're following someone, but if you have that in your mirrors, it's definitely going to put you off a little bit.
Absolutely. Looking at the new times at the moment on the board, we've got Blake Townend in first place still with his 46.389. Job in second, Sarulowicz in third, Jonathan Maycock in fourth, Mark Mercer in fifth, rounding out George Streetley in sixth. Simon Hulbert 7, Lambert 8, Ward 9, and Marcus Hamilton rounding out our top 10. So the leaders not really changing their times much at the moment, Chris.
Well, interestingly enough, just going back to last season at Spa, Savidovic proved that he had a lot of pace around Spa. Job did he run? I can't remember. I don't think he ran in the end. I think he qualified and then had a problem actually running for the race. But it was a timed race and a set number of laps. But then the set number of laps actually went over the time limit, which was set, and caught all the drivers and us by surprise. And what we thought was the penultimate lap was actually the finishing line, because we didn't see the white flag come out. So sorry for any spoilers for anyone that's going to go back and watch that later on, but we saw a dramatic finish last season, and Savidovic actually was probably the favourite to take the championship at that point in the season. It's all a little bit different now. He's not had such a good season this season. The bad luck last season really fell with Mark Mercer, and he missed out on that one. Multiple champion Mercer and Savidovic as well. But the favour has definitely gone to Mark Mercer, probably through the merit of his driving style and patience, really, when it comes to not always winning every single race, but always finishing consistently, even when he gets into a few mighty tussles on the circuit, which we've seen plenty of this season.
Absolutely. It wasn't as much of a heavy tussle, but last week at Mid-Ohio, Sebastian Job was chasing Mercer and Streetley in first and second. He was pushing so hard, and he was having such a hard time keeping up with the lead two. He lost it in turn 2 in Mid-Ohio, a mistake all of his own making. But I'm starting to see the pressure appearing in Sebastian Job in this course. So it could be interesting to see if he can actually keep up there with the leaders, Chris.
Oh, and Jonathan Maycock goes into second place on the final lap of qualifying there, pushes Job down to third. I thought he was going to have a front row start there, and that's pushed everybody else down. Streetley, who we thought was going to qualify very strongly, still does okay. I mean, he's in 7th place, but not as high as he would want to have been. And Tom Ward once again in the top 10, so good job by Tom Ward there.
Yeah, George Streetley's car's just being pushed back into his pit garage, so I don't think he'll be making another run. That could be his final finishing position, unless somebody else pips him to the post.
Well, we don't have a lot of other cars out on the track at the moment. Let's just get those positions up on the screen one more time. We seem to have lost those.
Savidovic, Povey, Streetley, Job, and I believe Maycock and Townend are all in their pit box, so I think that top 5 is pretty much fixed, Chris.
Well, Tom Ward actually just pushed out of the top 10 there. That's Hulbert and then Lambert in 9 and 10 now. Stuart Adcock in 8th position. We're just watching Marcus Hamilton coming around trying to improve his time. No, he's decided to pull that one off the track.
Yeah, surprising. Not a bad start though in 12th place, although with turn 1 being such a sharp chicane here, I don't think grid spot is going to be as much of an issue as avoiding people on that run down to turn 1, Chris.
Andrew Chadbourne in 40th place at the moment, just coming over the line. No improvement for Mr. Chadbourne, unfortunately. So that is everybody, I think, has qualified now. We're going to be going into the grid pretty soon.
Always a brilliant start here at Spa, Chris, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the start-finish has obviously moved over the years, and it's round past turn number 1 now. The turn number 1 is the hairpin right, which is always interesting because you can pick up a fair amount of speed, but you really got to take it very careful around that first corner, right?
Absolutely, and just a quick one, but in today's update to iRacing, the start and finish lines have changed for Spa. Previously, the finish line counted as start and finish to the official sensors. Now, start and finish are separate, so maybe that might catch some people out on the runs.
Well, that's very interesting. It's a 10-lap race, and one of the cars that's gridded up just in the background, the wheels are offset to the right there. I wonder if... I'm not sure who that is. Maybe you can tell me. The orange and blue car there. Does he know?
Graphical glitch.
I'm looking now. I think that
Hopefully.
is graphics. And welcome back, Mr. Matt Dalton.
Oh, it's Tom Ward.
No, it's Matt Dalton.
No, but the skewy wheels is Tom Ward.
Anyway, we're getting ready, just gridding up here. Look at the number of cars on this Spa circuit as well. 48 cars make their way to the grid, I think.
Actually, I believe that is his. He had his wheel cranked over, so that was fully intentional that he had his wheels turned.
Well, either he was listening to us in the commentary box, or he's realised. We're just missing a few from the front, so Townend will lead the field away, and it's Maycock in second position. What did you make of that, Rachel?
I actually favour Maycock's starting position here. The outside line for Spa, it's actually a little bit quicker, especially on the run down to that first turn. He'll have the wider line, be able to open that up more. So perhaps seeing Maycock leading out of turn 1.
Well, anything can happen here, and I'm sure it will. 48 cars will make their way round to the first corner at Spa in round 8 of the iRacing Skip Barber series. We're ready to go here at Spa. The green light is on. Townend will lead the field away. This could be very interesting. Keep your eye on the front of the grid as we approach that sharp right-hander.
Explode.
And Townend takes the front lead into turn 1. He's got it round. Oh, my prediction was wrong.
They never go at the first corner. They always wait for the third one.
Oh, Gillen collected. Alex Gillen, number 10, collected by James Child, the number 5 car, just running out wide. No damage though to the looks of things. That's good.
Down to Eau Rouge for the very first time. Townend already nudging out in front a little bit. Maycock down to third.
Yeah, interesting to see Blake back on the top again. He's struggled the last few weeks in various races with qualifying pace and things, so it's good to see him back at the front.
Well, all of those cars still filtering through. But just look at that. Down the Kemmel straight. 4-5 wide we've got here, right down into the background.
Not? I love Spa.
Clark Williams currently being passed by Brendan O'Brien and James Child for 19th and 18th place. That was a bit of a traffic jam.
Oh, and someone's lost their front wing there. That's Brendan O'Brien.
Shouldn't affect him too much though. Skippy's never been known for its aerodynamic downforce.
Well, I still know the tail.
Say that, but you see, I always said that because when I pick up any damage in it as a mortal, I notice nothing. It doesn't seem to make any difference. But we actually asked a couple of the top guys that in the post-race interview last year, and Wojciech Savidovic was adamant that the front wing, when they knock it off, they can feel quite a significant difference. So.
Perhaps it's psychological for these guys.
Well, to be honest, I think I could be driving a bin lorry around Spa and I wouldn't notice the difference.
I'm not sure you're that bad, Chris. Your paint jobs are, but...
Thank you. And now it is Sebastian Job who proved his worth at Brands Hatch, giving Blake Townend a very hard time. And a hard time for us in the commentary box as well, because those cars look almost identical.
Absolutely. So it's a tough one, but these guys switch places so often it's like a magician's 3-cup trick.
That is the biggest gap between second and third I've ever seen in a Skip Barber race at Spa, especially from these guys. Blake and Sebastian Job are on an absolute mission, aren't they?
Well, Savidovic now down the inside as we come through to the bus stop, so Maycock might be losing another position here, unfortunately for him.
He's lost it. He has to back out. He was coming in tight for Blanchimont. Unfortunately, you have to back out more on that inside line.
Savidovic very wide around that corner there. I mean, that would have been is that a 1x down there?
Absolutely.
It is, yeah.
So obviously choosing to take the incident point and the place, and that has given 4th place to Mark Mercer, who didn't qualify well, but the first lap has already seen him move up. And the old battle between the two rivals, Mercer and Savidovic, is on. And we've got a crash in the background. Is that Hefford?
Is it a Castrol car?
I think it might be Stephen Hefford. Let's see if we can go back and have a look at a replay of that one down into the bus stop.
Interestingly, Sebastian Job as well.
Hefford's still running well.
Yeah, Job has decided to tuck up behind Blake Townend and not actually try and challenge him for position. I think he's spotted the gap behind him and possibly decided that line astern is the way to go for now.
Oh, Hefford collected heavily by Tim Adcock, the 21, coming on the exit of turn 1. Oh, he bounced there. That wouldn't have done his car any good. Doesn't look like there's much damage though.
I don't know about collected. It seemed like Hefford ran into the back of the 21, but okay.
Yeah. Well, from my angle on the exit, he was riding up on his wheels. The 21 came into Hefford.
Yep, Sebastian Job immediately taking the Michael out of my prediction of staying line astern, and the other guys have caught right up to the back of him again, so... Murray Walker-isms...
When we have a closer run at the front, don't you think, Matt?
Murray Walker-isms in full flow. We've already had more overtaking in the first 2 laps than we had an entire race at Laguna Seca as well, so...
You really needed to be in Mid-Ohio. That would have been perfect for you.
I was in Mid-Ohio.
That's a good point.
I had a great time.
You abandoned me. You abandoned me to my death at the commentary box. Trial by fire.
Fine.
A spin from Nick McCarron here. I'm not sure where that is on the circuit. Just lost the cameras there for a moment as well. So let's go back and have a quick look, see what happened to McCarron.
Has he been on the gin again?
Yeah, he's
another car out, same corner.
Oh, well, have a look at the replay there. Oh, we just see a car go off in the background there, and there's Hefford's teammate Dan Hunt. And yeah, McCarron's lost it on his own, unfortunately. But right in the middle of the track, there's cars going right and left trying to avoid him. And everyone gets through there unscathed, pleased to say. Gets around the spinning McCarron, who recovers the car, and he's now running in 40th place.
Yep, we got Simon Povey and George Streetley renewing their friendship at the front here as well. They're trying to catch up to the back of this leading group, who seem to be making a little break for it. And then immediately behind that leading group, I mean, there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars. They're in pretty tight succession. And of course, Spa is such a good track for racing for these cars because the traffic effect here is huge.
Hulbert down the inside takes his teammate and doesn't manage to get past Streetley. Those two look like they're racing each other.
Did they touch there? That looked a little bit of wheel to wheel.
Doesn't seem to be any damage just looking at those cars, but Hulbert obviously feels like he has the better chance of getting around George Streetley just up ahead, and Streetley in 6th place at the moment, and the SS Racing boys in 7th and 8th.
See, the thing is, they don't need to be going side by side like that through there, because that is actually going to slow them down. They want to get on to the back of Jonathan Maycock and this front group, but really what they should all be doing is trying to work together.
Try and get these guys to work together though, Matt. There's too many different
Yeah, it's not going to happen,
personalities.
is it? No, there's one or two egos, isn't there?
Just a few. Oh, I think we have
Well-
Sebastian Job taking the lead up front on the run down to turn 5.
And Mercer's looking for a way through there as
Will
well.
Three wide inside.
Three wide as well.
No, Tannen takes it back, I think.
Oh,
no,
Marcus
and
Hamilton. Oh.
Maycock into second. Brilliant move. They're taking advantage of
And
Job.
Hamilton's taking out George Streetley.
Oh no, Hamilton spun on the track.
Well, Hamilton's facing the wrong way. A lot of damage on that car.
Well,
Heavy damage to the rear wing of George Streetley, and I believe his front wing is also gone.
yeah, see, Marcus Hamilton there has taken a massive draft from all the cars in front of him. He's dived up the inside way too late into Lecombe, and really, I don't think that Simon Hulbert will have been aware that he was there. And I think he's turned, and then Marcus Hamilton's hit George Streetley, and then, well, what's that?
Speaking of aero packages, and these top racers actually managing to notice the aero package, well, George Streetley is going to be upset at the moment because he's got severe damage on his front and rear wings. Perhaps seeing him fall back. Do you think he'll pit, Chris?
Well, unfortunately, our replay shows Marcus Hamilton in a white car, which is an iRacing bug, unfortunately. But yeah, he dived down the inside, tried to take a little bit more than he could chew, possibly, and he made contact with Simon Hulbert at the front of that pack, and Streetley, unfortunately, got involved in that, and, well, yeah, carnage.
See, that initial move, I mean, he's tangled up a little bit with Simon Hulbert, but then the spin is going into the second corner, and it's almost like the thing suddenly had 1,000 horsepower and just lit the rear tyres up. I can't see any contact or anything here that would have caused that. The
It's
only
not as
thing
much
that
as-
could have caused that is if he's dumped the clutch and lit it up. That's strange.
It's not as much as lighting up the tyres in this car, Matt. Biggest problem, you're getting throttle lift oversteer. He's probably got off the gas to avoid something, and the back end's come round on him.
Well, 3 laps down here.
Yeah, that doesn't look like that. That looks more strange. Just a strange one. We'll have to ask him. Anyway, back up front.
Yeah, 3 laps down, and Townend is in the lead from Mercer, and Job is right behind him, beg your pardon, Maycock behind him, and Savidovic is in 5th place. So Mercer, from nowhere on the grid really, is come right through the entire field, and this is why he's on for the championship.
Absolutely. He's just a consistent driver every single time.
And his PH Racing teammate doesn't appear to be in this race, Paul Grillo, at all. So the fact that PH Racing are on top of the team championship is again largely due to the efforts of Mark Mercer. As he gets the run down the Kemmel Straight, Townend's going to force him right down the outside, but he should be able to clear him before he gets to the next corner.
But will Tannen get the run on the inside for that first corner? And will Mr. Mercer be able to hold that position for the run on to turn 6?
Well, Mercer leaves him room very gracefully, but it allows Job back into the fight. And here he comes. No, not going to
Job's
happen
coming
for
on the
Job.
inside. Yes, you might have him on this turn.
Well, you want to watch out for Maycock in the background, and Savidovic is at the back of this pack as well, as still line astern all the way through there at the moment, and no changes, but this is a 5-car battle for the lead, and any one of these could take that, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure Simon Hulbert as well. He's trying his best, isn't he? But running on his own, I don't know if he's going to be able to bridge that gap. I mean, he's going to be giving it everything, but I think he needs these guys to start swapping positions a little bit, really, because the draft effect here is so big that unless he gets some help, he's not going to cross that gap, is he?
Doesn't seem to be any damage to that SS Racing machine after the contact that we had a little bit earlier. It seems to be running just fine, but yeah, you're right, he's 2.1 seconds down at the moment. He's got another 3.5 seconds back to Stuart Adcock running in 7th, and Povey, after that Streetley incident, is actually, I say Streetley incident, wasn't really his fault, but he's a long way back now, so it looks like the top 5 are separated by enough, but you know, every time they make an overtaking move, Rachel, they're going to be slowing each other down and allowing Simon Hulbert to catch up.
Absolutely. It's fighting closely together with each other is always going to slow the cars down. That's what gave Townend his run on Mercer and Streetley at the last race. The two of them were so busy battling each other, they left a gap, he took it. Unfortunately, these top guys, with so many of them involved in the fight, could go either way.
Down at the front into the bus stop for the 4th time, Townend just keeps it from Mercer. The race lead will mean a lot to all of these drivers. Especially to Jonathan Maycock, who we're not used to seeing right at the top of the podium, and he's in with a good shout here, Matt.
Very good shout indeed. Some top of the Cox as well, isn't he? So
Interesting.
double points.
Very interesting one I've seen here. Marcus Naris, in number 37, coming down the Camel Straight, blew his engine. He's in the pits at the moment. He's dropping right down the leaderboards. Unfortunate.
Well, that's bizarre, isn't it? Really, really strange.
Never seen a Skippy blow its engine. Definitely not here.
Well, I don't know, Matt. Maybe you remember back at Okayama, we had quite a few.
Yeah, Mazda factory went into overdrive on that day, didn't it? It was something to do with the temperatures, they said. I don't know. Temperature today is 73 degrees overcast, so...
Job on the Camel
Maybe
Straight
it's a
has the
little-
run.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what a lot of these guys do is they actually fairly heavily abuse the gearbox to use the engine braking to get them into the corners, and so it is possible, if you get that wrong, to explode the engine. I've done it.
Looks like poor Mr. Naris managed it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Marcus, who is no stranger to the Skip Barber. He's usually in these races, knows how the car works, but can catch any driver by surprise. Job down the Camel Straight has taken the lead. Townend drops down to 3rd place, and that puts Mercer, well, he remains in 2nd after a little bit of shifting around in the positions, and the timing information from Townend's car seems to have gone haywire. We don't know what the gap is. Never mind. Anyway, the top 10 positions there are on your screen, and the SS Racing boys, they've been out of this for a while, Matt. We're quite used to seeing them in every race, but not recently.
No, they've had a couple of weeks off. We're missing Paul Grillo as well, who's unfortunately decided he needs to concentrate on the official series more at the moment, so we wish him the best of luck with that one, but it's good to see him back.
Perhaps we have a new name to look for and going for pro.
I think you could probably, any of these guys is not far off. I think Sebastian Joe probably is the one you have to keep the closest eye on in that respect.
Well, at the moment, I think everybody is, because they're all behind him. Although, massive run by Mercer. Down to Blanchimont.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about positions just yet. They're probably going to swap them another 6 or 7 times in this lap, so...
Well, the front 5 are still
There we go.
side by side, and Mercer's going to take the lead now down into the bus stop. Those other drivers just got to be patient. Just, well, Job defending, but...
See what I mean, Chris? That's exactly what I was talking about before. The driver on the outside, or the inside for the first corner of a chicane, will always lose out in the second corner.
3 wide into the hairpin, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, and you know, we always say, don't we, there's no point racing until the last lap, but these guys just do it because they enjoy it.
Listen, anyway, did they? No, exactly.
And
Of course,
let's say,
the one with the biggest grin on his face with all of this going on up here is going to be Simon Hulbert, because the more these guys do this, the more it slows them down and the closer he can get to the back of all of them.
yeah, that's absolutely right, and it's now 1.7 seconds, the gap. So, well, 1.8-ish.
Just a bit of tidbit of information with the Marcus Naris thing. He was saying that he was in 5th gear and he's gone to shift down. It's just thrown it straight into 2nd gear. So,
Ouch.
but 5. No, you can't go 5 wide.
Maycock down the inside, but he's going to back out of this one, I think, quite wisely.
They were thinking about 5 wide for a second, then, weren't they?
Yeah, and it's not unheard of, especially at Spa, but there's limits. There's limits to everybody. So Hulbert, that gap now down to 1.5 seconds, and you're right, this is going to be a 6-car train before we know it, as we reach the halfway point in this thrilling race at Spa in the iRacing Skip Barber series. It's all to play for now. It would be better for any of these drivers to finish 5th than risk a crash, surely.
Yeah, you'd think so, but I don't know. I'm not sure these guys tend to think that way. Mark Mercer is the one that I've got my eye on. He was, he ran well last year as well, and was unlucky, wasn't he? He was punted, I think, by Simon Povey, if memory serves me correctly. Apologies to everybody if that's not correct, but
yeah, that's quite right.
You get the impression he's got a point to prove this time out, and he wants to do it.
And just having a look at the on-board here from Hulbert, he's like Lord Vader in that cockpit there. But go ahead, Rachel.
Just a quick one here. Simon Povey, as we just mentioned, and Stuart Adcock fighting it out heavily in the last sector, with unfortunately Povey running over the gravel, but he does finally take that position for 7th place.
Oh, and that's Adcock in the gravel behind him, just there.
Yeah,
They're all playing in the
won't it?
gravel.
Yep, bit of gravel, won't it? Off to the sandbox.
Tom Ward as well in the 9th position. That's George Lambert on the back of this little 4-car train, but they're jostling for position like it was for the race lead. And that purple machine is one of the SS Racing's Simon Povey, of course. He got swamped, didn't he? He was running in a fairly safe 7th, but now it's a 4-way battle.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, when
Simon
you get 2 cars
Halbert.
together, that draft is just unbeatable.
Darth Vader, I think, is on the back of these. I think it's a case of, Wodge, I am your father.
I don't know about that, but he is right on the back of these guys now, and Wodge, as you call him, will take the 4th position as we go into Eau Rouge for the 7th time. Although, maybe I'm wrong, maybe Maycock will hold on to this one, but Hulbert's got to be having his eye on this, thinking, wonder how high up this grid I can get by the end of the race.
That'll depend on
Yes.
just how closely the front 5 fight. Unfortunately, we've seen them come to blows a few times. Do you think it might happen again, Chris?
Well, something's got to give, I think. It might well give in terms of the track position. We already seen the back 3 falling back from the front 3, or it might well give, as you say, in terms of an incident here. Let's hope it doesn't. But it's something
nope,
Mercer
there
could
goes
do
Shannon
without.
taking a look on the inside.
There goes Hulbert, wasting
Oh.
no time whatsoever.
Fighting out into turn 6 and 7.
Jobe's got a problem.
Yeah, Tannen will
Jobe's
take
got a
it.
problem.
Oh, engine smoking.
It's
The
blown,
marshals
yep.
come out and pick up all the little bits of his
Jobe's blown it
exhaust.
up as well.
Terrible news for Sebastian Jobe coming down at the end of the Kemmel Straight into the heavy braking area. He's
The Mazda
he's
marketing
got to pull that off,
manager is-
surely.
Yeah, the Mazda marketing manager is pulling his ear out, isn't he? He's going to be going nuts.
Right, let's have a look at this on the replay from Jobe. Just coming down into... Well, he gets on the brakes. It's coming down through the gears. Yeah, you can see the smoke in his mirrors there. It's all over for Jobe, and he knows it at that point. Yeah. Terrible, shame. That's the second driver that we know we've lost from engine damage.
Yeah,
Unfortunate for
Tim-
him, he's been doing so well.
George Street, you're running around in 13th with some rather serious damage there. It's not going to be a happy day at the office for him.
It's the aero, as you said. Us mere
I'm
mortals, we
showing
don't notice it.
Streetley in 10th at the moment.
13th for me.
Yep, 13th for me as well.
Software snafus, we love them here at BSR TV.
They're not our software, we should say that.
Oh yeah, we blame iRacing completely.
Alice Stevens having quite a good run, isn't he? In 16th, that's quite a good way up the grid for him. He's doing quite well there. He's doing some IndyCar racing the other day, so perhaps the single seaters are becoming a bit of a specialty for him.
Yeah, the paint job is not very much of a specialty, I've got to say.
Mr. Maycock and Hulbert are fighting out for 5th and 6th as they run down to the bus stop, and I think Simon Hulbert's going to just pull that position as they run in. No, it's Stuart Maycock. Jonathan Maycock. Wrong one. Jonathan Maycock gets to run through the bus stops. Brilliant little fight between those two.
Apologies once again on some of these cars turning white for some reason. Still not got that one. Yeah.
It does. Every time somebody disconnects or rejoins a session, it can flip trading paints on and off. It's annoying.
Well,
Stefan Hoog climbing all over the back of Ellis Stevens. He's another one to watch, mind as well. I mean, he's not been on iRacing long, but the time he has been on here, he's getting quicker and quicker and quicker in every car he drives. So he's another one to watch for the future.
yeah, the Swiss driver, not one you would associate necessarily with open wheel racing, but that might all change.
Conflict, yeah. It's not like the Swiss to avoid a bit of conflict, is it?
And Stevens just up ahead in
Controversial.
this pack here.
Massive draft for Simon Hulbert on Stuart Adcock, and he's oh no, sorry, it's Jonathan Maycock. I'll get it right eventually, guys.
I'll just ask you guys as well, what position is Streetley showing in for you now?
10th place now.
So yeah, I'm just going to throw in. I told you so, and then we'll just carry on with the commentary.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll take that.
And he's at
We'll
the
take
front
that
of
one.
this
He's gonna
group
take
here.
his smart ass moment. Yep.
3 wide down in the
Front
Kemmel
three-
Straight.
Front three have made a bit of a break for it, haven't they?
We just got the cameras on that 3 wide battle for 11th place as Stevens loses out there to Peter Cowan, and well, he's got the position back actually, just coming into the next corner. But that is anyone's game. But let's go back to the front, as you're saying.
Yeah, front three made a bit of a break for you. I think that blow up for Sebastian Jobe has scattered them all a little bit.
Well, Job, Mercer, Savidovic, these are the old well, not to say they're old timers, but these are the superstars from last season, shall we say. Townend as well, coming under a lot of pressure from Mark Mercer. Oh, and there's a car off by the side of the road, just saw that out of just in the corner of the camera, but it's not anyone up front, I don't think.
Was that the one on the run-up after Eau Rouge?
No, this is we're following the leaders at the moment on the cameras. Marcus Naris is still going round, which confuses me slightly because I understood that his engine had gone.
Now there is a reset in this series, so if he's gone back to the pits, it will give him a new car.
Although I didn't think that. Does that count even with a blown? I thought a blown engine was it.
Nope, counts for everything.
Okay, interesting.
Mazda department are trying to redeem themselves for their failures by throwing another one at it.
We've lost Stevens.
I would wager that's an internet-related issue.
Just bringing that one up on the replay as he's leading that group with Peter Cowan, and that was the well, it was for 11th place, this battle. This is the replay of it, the number 11 car with a little bit of damage on the rear wing there, and say damage to the paint job as courtesy of those horrible multicoloured decals he's got on. And we're just having 2 laps left, and did he just disconnect? No, he's lost it and off into the gravel. Just a little error there. Yeah,
that's uncharacteristic. That is Teflon boy. He's doesn't make many mistakes, does he?
Oh, big problem here. Back just a couple of minutes ago with Nick McCarran and Alex Laidlaw. Nick running really wide on the entrance to Eau Rouge, sweeping across his front wing, clipping the back of Laidlaw and turning him into the wall on the inside of the Kemmel Straight. Unfortunately, poor Alex Laidlaw ending up upside down. There's a bit of fisticuffs happening in the pits right now, Chris.
And was that about a minute ago? We're not seeing that one on the replay, so maybe we missed
Just
out on
about
that
a minute ago.
I think we're going to struggle to find that one on the replay, unfortunately, but never mind. So McCarran running 29th. We saw him spin out into 40th earlier on, so he's gained 11 places since then. But 2 laps left here.
We say it's fisticuffs, but it's not really, is it? It's just like a bit of a girly slapping session. They're not.
I resent that remark.
Well, no,
actually, yeah. Having seen girls fight, that's probably the wrong thing to say, because girls fighting is terrifying, frankly.
Well, a lot of these drivers obviously got a lot of respect for each other. Blake Townend and Mark Mercer are among those drivers. Savidovic as well. These guys have been racing a long time in this series. And no Martin Peck this time, so no stealthy assassinations on the last lap, Matt.
No, Stealth Assassin is AWOL this season, isn't he? Ooh, Blake and Mark Mercer are awfully close there.
They're giving each other so much room, though. You can just see the respect between these guys. They know exactly how wide they go. Oh!
Wow!
Oh! Talent forcing Mercer very wide.
Yeah, exactly. You can't say that.
I think they're listening to BSR TV in their cockpits, because I don't think Mr. Townend liked the amount of room he was giving him.
Well, thanks for the engine noise comments in the YouTube comments there. The engine noise was a little bit quiet, perhaps, so we would turn that up. Unfortunately, we've only just seen that with 2 laps to go. But Mercer now down to 3rd as a result of that. It's almost coming together with Blake Townend there. And we're coming on to the last lap, so whose race is this?
I think it's Townend's to lose.
I'll tell you in a lap's time.
I think Matt's just in a meeting with Mazda getting them to turn up the engine sounds, aren't you?
I'm just thinking about it, to be honest. I think I'll tell you whose race it is in about a lap's time.
I don't know, I personally think that Blake's been so powerful for the entire race that unless Wojciech can pull something magical out of the bag at the last minute, I think it's definitely going to be Blake's.
There's only 0.6 of a second separating the top 3 as we go through Eau Rouge for the last time. Simon Hulbert is a second and a half down, probably too far to benefit from that draft. Here comes Savidovic now. Mercer will also follow Savidovic through. Townend is under threat here, but there's still a long way to go on the track before we reach the end of the lap.
Car off on the right. I wonder who that is. Oh, Mercer on the inside. Can he hold it though? Oh, he makes it stick. Nice move there by Mark Mercer.
Oh, big slide from Townend. Almost lost it on the last lap there. I'm not sure if that was due to some aerodynamic effect or just a mistake from Townend, but that's
Oversteer.
given him a deficit of about a tenth there, and he might struggle now.
See, just
No,
as I
he'll
said,
be
it was
okay.
him to lose.
Yeah, the big run up through Blanchimont and towards the bus stop is he's going to pick up some real speed through there, so he's not he won't be too worried there just yet.
Well, George Lambert up to sixth place now. What's happened to Maycock? Oh, big old scrap going on George Lambert and Maycock, and that's also Stuart Adcock. Is it? No. Is it? Yes, I think so.
Yep, Stuart Adcock, Jonathan Maycock, and Tom Ward. No, Tom Ward's been in front of him.
So those three scrapping it out for sixth place, which is going Lambert's way at the moment. Streetley, another disappointing drive from him. It really, well, he got into a little bit of contact early on, and it couldn't do a lot about it. And could have been running up at the front, Streetley.
Absolutely, it's just an unfortunate contact earlier on. That's race without the aero. His car seems loose. He's having such trouble finding that grip.
Rounding out the final lap now, it's Savidovic from Mercer from Townend, and Mercer looked like he was going to mount a challenge there, might not be able to do it. They've got the braking area down into the bus stop. Savidovic is so defensive. Mercer outbrakes him.
Yeah,
Mercer's got the inside for the second part.
Patience. He's going to line that up and then watch that. Look at that exit.
Oh, Blake comes on the inside! Oh, brilliant move by Townend. You think he might... Oh, he can only make a second.
Well, fantastic result there. What a result for Townend. Mercer losing out.
That's the second time he's done that. It was Mercer and Streetley last week. The two of them were fighting. He went straight through the inside. Mercer went defensive to block Savidovic. Townend coming through as a superior racer again.
Yep.
Second place, but a well-earned second place.
Yeah, I think if I think he was hoping that Savidovic would be tangling a little bit with.
Well, just look at this on the replay. Mercer leaves it too late on the brakes and loses out through a split second of indecision on the brakes there, trying to get round Savidovic, and Townend stayed patient and took it in the end. Second place at least.
Yeah, that's exactly the sort of move we've come to expect from him. He's just got that absolute tactical understanding of the racetrack and the positions. He knows exactly when to strike, and that was a key example of his innate ability of these cars.
Well, results now up on your screen. Savidovic takes Spa after 10 laps round the iconic circuit. Townend, a surprising but in the end a deserved second. Mercer third, Hulbert fourth, Tom Ward in fifth place. Great result for Tom Ward. Stuart Adcock in sixth, George Lambert seventh. Jonathan Maycock, after starting so well in second place, he can only manage eighth, and Simon Povey puts both SS Racing boys in the top 9. Clark Williams in 10th place there, but big gap all the way back to 10th place, and just goes to show how quick the top 5 were really in that race until we lost Job.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, the same thing happened to him in the last race, although that was more of a case of him pushing too hard and just losing the car. I think Job is starting to feel the pressure of the championship.
And we see this sometimes, don't we, Matt? I mean, the newer guys who come in, they're not necessarily as familiar with the other racing drivers around them, and they're not as familiar with the car, so they might have the pace for 1 or 2 laps, but it takes a while to build up that consistency.
Yeah, it does, and I think that people seem to probably sometimes forget as well that the guys at the front in this series are guys who are seriously quick in a lot of cars. You know, Blake is in one of the top teams on iRacing. Wodge is, pretty quick in pretty much anything he drives. Sebastian Job as well is, the kid is just incredibly fast in absolutely every car in the system. So, perhaps they jump in and get a little carried away, but the midfield is becoming quite punchy lately. There's a lot of guys there who are working really hard to try and get into the top 5 or 6, and they're not far off. I think Stuart Adcock tonight and Jonathan Maycock as well were, they're not a million miles off the pace now.
And another good points haul for Team Castrol. Dan Hunt coming home in 18th place. Antoniades scoring a good 17th there as well, and Hoog in his first race in the season, 12th, so only just finishing a little bit behind George Streetley there. And Rachel was talking about Jonas van Wervelke in the new car this time round. Came home in 31st position, so not a bad effort for the first timer there, Rachel.
No, it wasn't. I've been speaking to him before the race, and he was perhaps a little more confident than he thought he could be of his finishing position. But I think for a new driver, and a driver that's only been in iRacing a month, to have managed to finish in the top, 31st, I think that's a brilliant result. That's perhaps one to watch in the future. Yeah,
we lost Marcus Hamilton as well, crucially, didn't we? I didn't remember him leaving.
It was the contact with Streetley. Marcus Hamilton was the car involved with Streetley, and that unfortunately put him out of the running.
Interesting there, and that could have championship ramifications for sure. Mercer, though, Matt, won't be too disappointed with a third place, given that he's 44 points clear at the moment.
Nope, all points towards the championship for him, and I think after last year where he got punted off here, I think he'll settle for that. Maybe a little bit disappointed he couldn't quite do the job in the end because he had a chance, but no, that'll do nicely for the championship. Of course, Blake has got a couple of drop weeks, hasn't he? And so he's not out of it as much as he looks just yet.
That's very true. And just going over to Stefan Hoog now, 12th place finisher for today. You there, Stefan?
Yeah.
Well, that was your first race in the Skip Barber series. You weren't too sure about the car coming into this, but it did pretty well in the end.
Yeah, I do this just for fun. Focus is BTCC.
And you can see Stefan in action in the BTCC for Team Bianco. He is on Thursdays on BSR TV. But there's some pretty tough drivers out there. I mean, the Skip Barber series is populated by very, very fast guys. So with practice, would you be able to contend with those guys, do you think? Or is that just beyond your ability or beyond your interest at the moment?
Well, in the BTCC I can compete with Chepelevsky, so I think if I put in enough practice I could probably be at least top 10, top 5, I think.
Confident words indeed.
The guys seem to be very quick. I never raced the Skip Barber at all, so it's not. I'd have to give it a try, really.
Well, on the basis of today's result, let's hope you do. But just switching over to the BTCC once more, we're back in action again on Thursday, and Bianco looking pretty good for the championship.
Yeah, you missed a very important race 2 weeks ago. My first wins, 1-1-2.
I can only apologise and congratulations.
I was gutted you weren't there.
Well, I wasn't going to lift you onto the podium or anything like that. That's for sure.
Oh, virtual podium.
Yeah, I'm sure you can manage that yourself, but you're going to have to make it up to us all, well, and me in particular, by winning the next 3 races.
I hope so, but Cheppy, I think he has been sandbagging. I had a race with him. He was like 6/10 off my pace, so pretty obviously he is sandbagging. I think he will have a surprise for us on Thursday.
But whatever happens, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough, isn't it? Some very good drivers in that series, and it's always a bit of a gamble on the first lap.
The higher up you start, the less risk you have, having the turn 1 incident. So I've been pretty lucky, I think. But I think I'll always start at top 5. It's a good place to start the race.
Well, good luck for that, Stefan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So that's Stefan Hoog there, 12th place today, but doing considerably better than that in the touring cars. And just to let everybody know out there, the Wednesday night will be the Carrera Cup back in action for its second season in the rough track edition this time round, and the touring cars will be back out on the track on Thursday, and both of those kick off at 8:50 PM UK time. That's whatever time it happens to be wherever the hell you might live. Looking forward to that one on Thursday, Matt.
Yep, should be good. Hopefully I'll be around. Still not, be good. And I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the touring cars in the championship.
It's a very, very close battle.
Where will those cars be running on Wednesday and Thursday, Chris?
So the rounds from Wednesday and Thursday will be Lime Rock Park, which is an interesting challenge.
Absolutely, love that track. In fact, isn't that where we're going next week with Skippy?
Do you know? I don't know.
Well, it
Maybe
is.
you
I'll tell you now. We are. Yeah.
No, you just wanted to catch me out. That's what it was.
No, I was trying to give you a lead in there, but
So-
you dropped it. Terrible.
I dropped the ball on that one, and Lime Rock Park is a very short track. It's a very technical track. It's a very right-handy kind of track. Only one left-hand bend on that circuit, and watching all three of these different types of cars going around, the Skippies, the Roughs, and the Kia touring cars, very different styles, but the same challenges faced by all of these drivers. It's going to be a very interesting week.
Do you think we can wheel out Matt's carnageometer at Lime Rock?
I don't think we've got any
I-
choice, Matt.
You can't. It's too risky. You try and reel that thing out at Lime Rock and it's going to go nuclear. Somebody will get hurt. No, we can't do that. We'll have to lock it away for now.
So what is everyone's move of the race today? Personally, I'm thinking Town End, final corner. What about you, Matt and Chris?
Well, you first, Matt.
While he thinks of one.
It's a tough one. I think Mark Mercer's move on Blake in the last lap was pretty good. I think you've got to give it to Vodge, because at the end of the day, his is the one that got him the win. So I'm going to have to go with Vodge.
Absolutely forgot. I've been sat there in third place for most of the race. Brilliant drive at the end, just to sneak that.
Yeah, and it was quite formulaic, a lot of the race today. I thought Streetley did very well to hang on as well in 11th place, because he had a lot of damage on that car, and it wasn't really anything to do with his driving that caused that. Saw a good save from Town End coming towards the end of the race, but it was his error that caused the need for the save, I suppose you could say. So yeah, we're going to have to go with Savidovic for this time round. Kept it clean, kept his nose out of trouble, waited for the moment, and then pounced to take the race win. So congratulations to him, congratulations to everyone who finished on the podium today, and we'll be back in action in a week's time at Lime Rock Park. But if you want more from BSI TV, Wednesday, Carrera Cup, Thursday, the British Touring Car Championship, and I hope you guys can join us for one or both of those. But until next time, see ya.
So long.